So we'll extend the webinar with a few minutes to allow the participants to also listen to your answers to the questions that were submitted in the chat. So one is on the traffic light coding system for the naturally ventilated schools. Is it based only on the carbon dioxide levels?
Yes, it's a simple sensor. It's only based on the CO2 level of room.
Yes, and there are other clarification questions. Were the measurements done in one or several schools or locations?
Yeah, with three schools in the area around Nürnberg, but one school was in the inner city. One school was really outside the city, and one school was between.
And did you see a difference in location?
No, not really a difference in the location. We also measured and discussed about the PM2.5 value, and the schools the school in the countryside has very high PM2.5 values. We suppose that have to be lower, and the school in the inner city had much lower PM2.5 values. We have no answer to that.
Yes, we also saw a difference still in indoor temperature between the decentralized ventilation. What was the reason? The
reason was that the users didn't know when they open the window, the system is shutting off, and so it comes to a bit also to overheating in the room because it is a school with a passive house standard.
So, and this mainly has to do also with temperature settings and heating control. I assume sometimes the heating can't be controlled at a classroom level when it's centralized completely.
Yeah. And it was also a floor heating there installed in the central ventilated school. Yeah. And the main problem was only one titled window nearby the teacher, and it has no really effect on the temperature degrees in the room because it was only one window which was titled.
Those schools seem to be recent schools. Were they retrofitted or recently built?
The central ventilated system was a new school building. The natural ventilated school was an old one from the 70s, and the other one with the decentralized ventilation system was a retrofitting the building standard around the 90s.
Okay, so still some difference between.
Yeah, difference in the building envelope and yeah.
You already touched upon this question. Is the heating system identical in all classes? What about set points, controls for the ventilation? You also mentioned. But can you also say something about the heating system in the other?
Yes, the heating system in the central ventilated school is floor heating with a set point of 20 degrees. It is controlled by an electronic room thermostat. And in all other schools, we have old radiator systems with this only controlled with a thermostatic valve.
Mm-hmm. And so the central ventilation system was CO2 controlled, presence controlled, window sets controlled. But what about the decentralized ventilation system?
The decentralized ventilation has a fixed air volume flow at the beginning of a project, and then they gave us a CO2 sensor for a CO2 control for a variable volume flow.
So this was also implemented after the
monitoring. Yeah, it was implemented after the monitoring phase. Yes.
Ah, okay. And a final question, and then I think I have to conclude the webinar. Was detecting room air quality the same in DV and CV in terms of sensor locations?
The period was the same, the time period that we measured the data at the different locations.
But the positioning, I assume they mean the positioning of in the classrooms?
Yes, the positioning was hard. We looked on a wall that is not not an outside wall. We searched for an inside wall, and we searched for a free place there. Yeah, also mostly it's nearby the door. Yeah, the sensor.
One sensor per classroom.
One sensor per classroom. It's a compact sensor which measures all the different physical parameters.
Okay, thank you for your answers.